We're going to be discussing the issue of driver's license requirement here in the United States. What is a driver's license? Do you need a driver's license? Is there any law requiring you to have a driver's license?
We're here today to assist in solving some problems. And one of the problems is the misconception of what a driver's license is and what it's used for. The fraud of a driver's license is not in your interest. We want to expose the fraud of the driver's license. Most of you scientists already know the nature of it, but we want to make sure that the people get the nature of what this is all about. When they gave you that driver's license, it was to incorporate you as a corporate person, was not an instrument for identification. Now, it must be understood, and this is redundant to many of you, but for those who do not know, a driver's license is an instrument that has its origin in the Excise Tax Act, 1909. And what it deals with is the movement of commercial goods and services. It does not deal with the natural person, which is why they will always say a person must have this, and a person must have that. But when they say person, it must be understood at law there's two types of person. When you hear the term made by any government official or any sub or pseudo government official or sub-government agency saying a person must, or person shall, they're saying a corporation shall, a corporation must, an artificial person shall, an artificial person must. So whenever you hear them say the word person, know already they're referring to a corporation. Are we clear? If they don't say natural person, that statement applies to corporations only, not to the natural person. If you think that it means you, you're wrong. But it's presented to you that way for you to believe that it means you, so that you can be tricked into making a contractual agreement. And once you sign the contract becomes the law. And so they sue you on that contract. So understand how law comes about. In other words, you are the law.
A driver's license is required for one who is conducting commerce on the highways. Now, if you're doing personal travel along the highways or personal transportation, there's no law saying that you need a driver's license. I'd like to read to you something here from Bovier's Law Dictionary. One employed in conducting a coach, carriage, wagon, or other vehicle with horses, mules, or other animals. Now that is Bovier's definition of a driver. There's no mention about personal transportation in there or anything. Now notice under part 3 of that definition, it states that the driver must be of good habits for the journey and possess good skills. Because if he's not, and there's an accident or an injury, the driver and his employers, yes, that's right, I said employers, are responsible. Now, while the definition of driver does change a little bit over the years, there is a U.S. Supreme Court case, Reno v. Condon, which states, the activity licensed by state DMVs and in connection with which individuals must submit personal information to the DMV, the operations of motor vehicles is itself intricately related to interstate commerce. There is no need to have a driver's license for personal transportation. There's no need to have a driver's license to go down to the store to get some milk, to go to the bank, to take your kids to school, to go to work every day. There's no requirement. There's no law.
A driver license is commercial activity. Driver's license is for driving a vehicle for hire, which is a commercial activity. And use of a car or automobile, which is not for profit, is not commercial activity, and thus does not require any license.
Now I'd like to read you something from State versus Spokane. The right of the citizen to travel upon the highway and to transport his property thereon in the ordinary course of life and business differs radically and obviously from that of one who makes the highway his place of business for private gain in the running of a stagecoach or omnibus. Now understand that the term driver is a contradistinction to the term traveler. It is very important to understand these terms. Now, contrary to what the system tells you, travel is not a privilege. However, if you are a driver using your vehicle for commerce, then you're required to have a driver's license. If you're using your vehicle to make a profit or for hire on the highways, then you are required to have a driver's license.
What the driver's license does, it identifies or tags moving property. It will be used, as it has been used, to profile you, to extract revenues from you as chattel property. And most people are under the impression that slavery in the Union State Society had ended. Well, the driver's license is one of the major instruments that is used politically to sustain slavery. And you'll notice that all driver's licenses have the nomen written in all capital letters, which you all know, which indicates a corporation, an artificial person, an instrument, all right? Now, that instrument comes under excise tax. And excise tax is a system that is set up for corporate activity and for taxing corporations in the capacity of having a privilege or benefit of operating in a corporate capacity. Now, anyone who has a license, pull out your pocket right now. Let's examine it. Now, look on the front of it. And it has a picture that represents you. Correct? And then it has some phonetic writing on the front that sounds like the name that you have. But that's not you. The picture can't represent you, and the name does not represent you. That name represents a private corporation, or what they call often a straw man, too. You notice that grammatically it's incorrect, correct? Why is it incorrect?
Capitalize your nouns.
You capitalize nouns, correct? If you don't capitalize a noun, then it must not be a noun, am I correct? But if all the letters are capitalized, it's not a proper noun, is it? It's grammatically incorrect if it's directed at a person, correct? Why do you think that was done? Do you think it's accidental? The fact that it expires proves what to you relative to identity? Does your identity expire? Can your identity expire? Well, why does your identity expire with the driver's license? Because it's not an identification card. It's a proof of contract. It's a prima facie article, instrument used to regulate your economy. They listed you as corporations and list you as foreigners, and that your working is a corporate activity for capital gains. By you being Smith, Jones, and Johnson, it automatically puts you as a ward of the state so they can impose upon you that license in the first place. And then list you as corporation under his name because you've been using his name and you ain't gave it back to them, which makes you legally bound to them. And then you made a contract of moving or driving in this artificiality. And they constantly charge you or make up laws to actually extort from you on a consistent basis. And when you don't pay them, they take back their property, which